All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome if you are new here. Thank you guys so much for joining me today and waiting patiently, as always, for the intro to finish up. Running a little bit late today. I'm running a little bit late because we got some snow, quite a bit of snow, actually, and I had to do some shoveling, some pathway clearing, I guess. So thank you guys for being patient. And Corey the Legend, bro, did some seriously heavy lifting on the last stream, but he's not done here, not today. He comes in, he drops 5 memberships right off the bat. Boss was ready. It's for the boss. Well, he's ready, dude. He's ready. So Corey, thank you for that, man. I appreciate it. Let me. I noticed my camera's a little displaced. Hold on. I have to fix that real quick, actually. I just noticed that. That's weird. Huh. Okay, I guess there just have to be like a black bar at the bottom then. I'm not sure what's going on there. But yeah, Corey, thank you for that, buddy.
I'm no hero. Never was. Never will be.
Michael, what's going on, man? Mr. Benedorm, Dwayne, hope you guys are doing well. Sorry, I was going to say hi to more people, but I'm just like distracted by the fact that there's this black bar. It's fine. It's not a big deal. I don't think it's a big deal. Boss, calm down. Calm down, boy. Calm down, boy. It ain't time for those treats yet. Not yet. You're super excited for Saros. So yeah, we are gathered here to talk about the aftermath of the Game Awards 2025. Definitely had to take a couple of days off to process everything, to process that last stream. It was a crazy one. It was a good one. Game Awards, it's always the same thing every year for me. By the time we get to the end of the show, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I'm irritable, I'm cranky. And then I give it like a day or two and I go and I check all the games and I rewatch the trailers and I realize, actually there's quite a few games that I'm kind of excited for or feeling very excited about. So, yeah, don't you just love it, Wes? Don't you just love when people are like, LOL, MEG doesn't like this game, even though he played this game and said this game was his game of the year for half of the year, LOL. What a hater. Like, it's so funny to me, man. It's just gotten to a point of just true. I mean, the brain rot has truly taken hold, bro. Michael says I said my piece to that guy on Twitter. The same one you commented on. His attacks are unfair to you. Sorry, bud. Well, I appreciate that, Michael. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. You can't stop it. But I never go full brain rot. Like, I rarely ever feel the need to, like, push back or fight back or anything because it's an unwinnable game. Where these people dwell and what they're doing, there is no winning. There's no convincing them of anything. They see things one way. They will always ever see it one way. But, I just feel like a line is kind of crossed when it's when people, or even if it's just a person trying to frame me as like, hey, look at this guy. He is upset or mad or has a problem with this video game, that one game of the year. And it's like, if that was true, I wouldn't feel the need to say anything or do anything. But even if I was indifferent to it, I wouldn't feel the need to say or do anything. But the fact that it's quite literally the opposite, and that's been on clear display for the entire year, it kind of highlights just how far people are willing to go, certain people that is, to just blatantly lie and distort. And, it's just an opportunity to prove myself right. And I'm not saying people should care because at the end of the day, I mean, most people don't care, and who could blame them? You know what I mean? Like, we're just here. We're trying to talk video games. We're trying to talk about the Game Awards. We're trying to react to game announcements and stuff. And then you got people out here acting like weirdos over it. But I've been talking to you guys about this for years, about how, like, I've just been simply trying to highlight at certain times when the opportunity presents itself that these people are blatant liars. I mean, liars to a degree where they will literally look you in the face, tell you something that they know is blatantly untrue, and they're just hoping you won't look into it and you won't look deeper because that's the name of the game. That's all that matters to them. So, like I said, 98% of the times I don't care. I don't pay attention to it, nor do I try to engage with it. But when I see something that egregious, it's like, you've got to be kidding me, man. Like, you've got to be kidding me. And Michael Wernick with the $2 chat says, like the video. If you like MBG, yeah, like the video. It's like nobody likes it. Yeah, like the stream, guys. I'd appreciate that. Definitely helps. But High Guard was MBG's favorite reveal in his most anticipated game. Absolutely. Yeah, so like looking back on it, there were quite a few games that definitely caught my attention and I think look good. I think when we're watching these shows live, we everything, it happens so fast and so rapidly that it can be hard to process things. But one of the things that I was also doing was thinking about a lot of the games that were revealed at the Game Awards that I'm interested in that are coming out next year on top of the games we already knew about. And it makes you realize, like, dude, 2026 is looking absolutely wild. I mean, it's looking like it might actually be one of the best years in gaming ever, and I don't say that lightly. It's looking wild, and I don't know what we're gonna do. I don't know what we're gonna do. Kojima got up and left after Death Stranding 2 didn't win. No, he didn't. Dude, that's one of the craziest things I've been seeing on the internet. Is I've been seeing people, they're just like, I don't know, they're trying to just frame things a certain way. Where I kept seeing this clip of Kojima. It was his reaction, I think, when Claire Obscure won Best Direction, and he was like smiling and laughing a little bit and clapping. And I saw people, they were trying really hard. I can't tell like what's real and what's not, so I'm like not taking it that seriously. But it seems like there were quite a few people trying to frame that as like he's angry or upset or being disrespectful. And all. So I'm like, dude, he's smiling and clapping. Like, what else is this man supposed to do? What is anybody else? What are we supposed to do? He was laughing in a mocking way. I don't think so, man. Like, this is where I feel like people, you think it looked that way? I mean, I guess maybe I guess. I just think it's weird. Like, I'm not sure why anybody would take it that way, but I don't know. At the same time, I saw some crazy stuff coming out of the Game Awards, dude. It's the same way every year. You get some of the most nonsensical stuff that starts to circulate after the Game Awards. But I will say, man, I saw some of the clips from past years where you had that reformed rabbi Bill Clinton guy, and I watched that clip again, and I'm like, dude, that gets crazier every time I see it. Every time I see it, like, he just walked up on stage and just chilled with the devs like he was part of the dev team. And no, even the developers up there, even Miyazaki, like, nobody knew. They're like, I guess this guy's supposed to be here. And I think that may have been the best moment of the Game Awards ever. Like, I don't know that anything could top that. Some dude tried to rush Jeff Keighley and say GTA 6 is going to be the greatest game ever or something like that. And I was like, well, that was kind of cringe. Like, come on, bro. Have you seen the memes? Which ones? I haven't seen many memes. I've seen like clips and people fighting and arguing over clips. Not really memes, though. That kid launched a podcast after that stunt. Damn. It launched his career, bro. That's pretty good. Stage bombers are always cringe. Yeah. The reformed Rabbi Bill Clinton was pretty good. I have to, like, it's because it was done in such a strange way, you know? But yeah, it was one of these things where it's like, bro, come on. It could have been so much worse. Like, he could have said something like way crazier. You're seeing people say that Xbox won Game of the Year because Expedition 33 was a Game Pass title. Well, one of the strangest things that I've seen, in the aftermath. Excuse me. I saw this one, bro. That's amazing. Never forget the face Anthony Mackie made when The Last of Us won Best Adaptation over Twisted Metal. Yeah, dude. So one of the strangest things that I've been seeing behavior wise after the or reaction and behavior wise after the Game Awards is there seems to be people who I did see this one, Irfan. That's a good one. I've seen people, they're basically celebrating the fact that Sony has won nothing. And I'm like, this is just weird behavior, man. Like, and here's the thing. It's weird because it's coming from people who, like, if you were to do that the other way around, where it's like, we're going to celebrate because Microsoft won nothing one year, they'll be the people I'd be like, stop that, man. Stop the console warring. Grow up. What are you doing? But then, like, on a year like this, where, like, it's Spider-Man 2 again or something, and it's just like, oh, okay. Like, but even then, the weirdest thing I've seen, and this is I think worth taking a moment to point out because it's just like, dude, we live in a day and age with the internet where people just they live in their own worlds, truly. Like they live in their own worlds where I've been seeing people, they're like the ponies are so upset or the PlayStation fans are so upset. I mean, I guess there might be some people randomly, like random Twitter accounts, I suppose. I mean, you can find anything on the internet, right? You can find somebody mad at anything. But there's this kind of thing, this false. I mean, I call it a false narrative because it's just like it's weird behavior where it's like they're so mad that Sony didn't win anything, and it's like who, what are you talking about? It's like the PlayStation fanboys, they're so mad because Death Stranding. I'm like, dude, listen, I'm a PlayStation fan. A lot of people view me as a fanboy. Like I'm here, I'm streaming the Game Awards. Like I didn't. People were upset that Jeff Keighley didn't have a mega bomb drop at the end of the show, dude. Like I don't. The worst thing I saw, and it wasn't even bad, were some people just saying that they still think maybe like Death Stranding should have won something along those lines. I'm like, yeah, okay. But they're trying to push this. They're trying to create and push a false narrative where they want people to kind of walk away. And I remember seeing this with Spider-Man 2 where it was like, dude, who the hell was actually losing their mind that Spider-Man 2 didn't win Game of the Year? Like I'm seriously asking, like, who are you? Who are these people? You know? Like I don't are there people maybe arguing that Expedition 33, like there's a conversation that's happening, like was it overglazed, or was it is it overrated? And I'm like, that's a fair conversation. That's going to be a natural conversation. People are having that conversation about The Last of Us Part 2 when that happened, or even like The Witcher 3. Like people have these conversations when you get a game that comes in and basically gets close to sweeping the entire thing. But I always encounter the most bizarre and strange individuals where it's like they're just living in their own world and their own bubbles. And it's like, please stop trying to partake in the conversation if that's what you're going to do. Like it's not that you're not allowed to live in your own world and see things how you want to see them. But when you come in and you start projecting that onto other people as if it's some kind of truth and not some weirdo ass behavior, it's like, no, this is some weirdo ass behavior, dude. Like, get a grip for real. But, so it goes, right? Death Stranding 2 is great, but I don't care for it as my game of the year. Yeah, I mean, like, dude, the more I watch the Game Awards, like, I can celebrate things. Like, if a game that I care about wins, like, I'm going to feel good about that. I'm going to be like, yeah, awesome. If a game I don't care about wins, it's like, okay, cool. Like, I'm not going to be as excited because it's not a game I really care about. I think that's natural. Oh my God, dude, that's absolutely nuts. That's crazy, Irfan. I'm not gonna lose sleep over it or anything, but I don't know, man. It's sad to see that people are always trying to forcefully create drama where there really isn't any. And it's like, look, man, if you want to find some random ass accounts from people with no followings. But to be fair, I guess maybe there were some people with bigger followings. I mean, the year that Spider-Man 2 was part of the Game Awards and didn't win, I remember there was a big streamer that like freaked out that Spider-Man 2 didn't win. And that was kind of weird to me. I'm like, okay, like I guess there was somebody of consequence that really wanted Spider-Man 2 to win. But it's just sad, man. It's always sad to see how bad things just descend rapidly. And Hellbound 1981 comes in, the legend. He's keeping this train going today. Hellbound, thank you so much for that. So I am keeping track of it, by the way. That's 10 members gifted today. I know I don't know. This was the last goal that I had set prior to our Game Awards stream ending. So I guess we'll just keep it there for now. We'll see if we can hit that as the week goes on. But we are at 10 members, guys. We hit 25 today for the day. We'll you know how we do it. We'll feed the beast. We'll give him some treats. Hopefully he'll get some. He's leaving and hasn't posted a picture with Jeff yet. It might be over, bro. No way. Dude, what are we? There's no way this is a tweet about Kojima leaving. Is that what this is? Kojima leaving the Game Awards? Or like flying out of the country and going back to Japan and saying he didn't post a picture with Jeff Keighley? It's over. Come on, ABG. Every year, all Sony fanboys make fun of Xbox, even you, because Xbox doesn't get nominated for Game of the Year. This year, Sony didn't win anything, and now for you, it's weird that Xbox fans are doing the same thing. Well, no. I don't think it's... I want to clear something up here, Neutral Zone. I'm not saying there aren't fanboys fanboying. There definitely are. Like, are there certain PlayStation fanboys that... I mean, I don't know if they would actually be considered relevant or not. I don't know how to frame it, but like, can you find people that would be considered PlayStation fans getting upset at the Game Awards? Yeah, probably. I feel pretty certain saying you could find that if you look for it. Could you find Xbox players? Yeah, you can. The whole thing that I'm trying to get at here, man, is that, like, I guess it kind of bleeds into the greater conversation of, like, we can't play it both ways when it's convenient. It's got to be one way or the other. Like, we have to settle somewhere. And most of the friction that I've encountered over the last 3 years, and trust me, I've been doing this for a while, and when I tell you, most of the friction that I've encountered over the last 3 years is like, no, wait, like Xbox is done, bro. Like, not done as in like they're not a thing anymore, but just like the console war between Sony and Microsoft is over. So therefore, like, people need to just put their metaphorical swords and shields down and just chill out. And it's like, yeah, okay. Like, I've embraced that pretty much. And one of the reasons I've embraced that is because I've been told very loudly by people that, like, chill, dude. Like, this ain't 2020 no more. This isn't 2019. I'm like, oh, okay. All right, yeah. And then I look and I observe and I'm like, yeah, things have changed. Things have changed. But then when I see people who are not, like, I see some of the same people, and that's the important part, some of the same people that have tried to posture themselves that way. It's like, now you're breaking your own rule, bro. You are in real time being hypocritical. It's like, come on, man. Like, are we either, the war is either on or it's not. Which is it? Because, you know, I've kind of settled on, yeah, dude, like, Xbox, I just saw another interview with Matt Booty where he's, like, bragging about how most of their, like, 7 out of 10 or 6 out of 10 top 10 games on PlayStation were, like, Microsoft published. I'm like, yeah. Sony and Microsoft are winning by helping each other out, apparently. So I don't know. It's it's just one of these things where I understand that. I guess the best way I could say this, Neutral Zone, at this point, is last year when Sony was nominated for the Game Awards, right, through Astrobot, and then they won Game of the Year. I encountered so many people, and again, some of these people I recognize. A lot are just, random drive-bys and whatnot. But so many people that are like, this game didn't deserve it, or, like, this is nonsense, or, Astro, like, I can't believe Astrobot, like, the Game Awards are rigged, blah, 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 all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, guys, like, it's not a big deal. All right. Like, even I didn't think Astrobot was going to win Game of the Year. It's not a huge deal. Okay. Like, other games win other years too. And all I saw were people who were Astrobot fans, just like I'm seeing right now with Claire Obscure fans. To be clear, all I saw on one side were Astrobot fans and players saying, this is cool. Like, it's awesome to see this game that I like so much win Game of the Year. Congratulations. Well earned. And then on the other side, I see a group of people very angry and upset for some reason that Astrobot won. Where I'm like, okay. Like, I guess that's the way it goes every year. But now this year, when you have Sony nominated numerous times and they don't win anything, but something else wins, it's like, dude, it's like the comments that I see flow into the channel, right? The same people where it's like, Sony didn't win anything this year. Expedition 33 cleaned up. So much for those console sales. It's like, what do you like, dude, what are you talking, like, who are you and why are you here? What are you talking about? You're in a made up fantasy world, bro. Like, literally nobody thinks like that. Nobody is thinking like that. But that's the sad reality, is you realize, actually, no, there's more people than you would realize thinking like that, and they're congregating on the internet in these groups. And it's like, oh, well, that's not good. That's not good. Like, I don't think the people, and I understand a lot of it's like rage baiting and stuff, and that's, of course, that comes with the territory. But the funniest thing to me is, like, don't people realize that getting nominated in the Game Awards or for the Game Awards is considered a good thing? That is considered a good thing. So, like, for example, if you look at the fact that Death Stranding 2 was nominated, like, 6 or 7 times or something, it didn't win anything. No, it didn't. But it still got nominated. Just like games like Kingdom Come Deliverance. I saw people, God, man, I saw some people, virtually swinging at each other because of how upset they were that a game that they wanted to win Game of the Year didn't, and Expedition did. And I'm like, it should just, to be honest, anybody who's nominated should just be thankful for the honor of being nominated. Of course you want to win. And of course there's a little bit of a sting where it's like, we didn't get it. But I'm just seeing people out here, they're like becoming more, they're acting out more than the people who freaking made the piece of art. And that's what's crazy to me, is it's like, guys, you have no involvement in this whatsoever. Like, you should not be this emotionally invested, ever. And I kind of realized this back in 2021 when I saw that Returnal didn't, like, I really felt passionately about Returnal, and I thought Returnal deserved a lot more than it got, and it didn't get that. And I remember feeling like kind of annoyed by it, but then I'm like, well, this is stupid. Like, who cares? It's like, I fucking love the game. Everybody who played it seemingly loved the game. Housemarque found their success. Who cares about any of this? But it's like, yeah, okay, Astrobot wins. That's nice. Expedition 33 wins. People were being harsh to me because they didn't, it's kind of like what Michael was mentioning earlier, where it's like they were taking me out of context, where they were trying to frame it as I was being like an asshole or being disrespectful at the fact that Expedition 33 won because I was acting like, oh my God. And I was like, it was supposed to be it's funny. Like, it's not serious. That's the point. That's the whole point. Is the whole night we're hearing Expedition 33 win. So when we hear them win Game of the Year, it's like, oh my God, we're in shock. I was not pissed. Well, actually, the thing I was pissed about was the final. That had me kind of frustrated. But at the same time, I'm like, dude, like, whatever. I've been streaming for 10 hours. I got a headache, and Jeff closed with a game that looks like, again, no offense to developers, but it's like, what? Why am I here? You know, like, this is the big final reveal. Like, dude, come on. And nothing, like, it pisses me off a little bit when I see people try to frame me that way. And I'm sorry if I sound overly defensive, but it's because, like you got to be fucking kidding me. Like, dude, I reviewed this game earlier this year. I had nothing but the highest. I literally said this is a Game of the Year contender, and it's probably going to win Game of the Year. I said that so many times. I said that so many times, you know? All right, Rich. Give me just a moment. I have a PlayStation Pete with a super chat. Says, I will have the platinum today. Only need 5 more trophies. Enjoying Super Mario 64 on Switch 2 online. And Dick Van Dyke turns 100 years old. Damn, dude, 100. Which game are you talking about, PlayStation Pete? You're saying you will have the platinum today. You only need 5 more trophies. Which game are you playing? MVG, people hating on you don't realize you played the game before everyone else. Well, dude, that's and I wasn't the only one. There were other reviewers who played the game early, but that was the whole thing. Like, dude, I had multiple podcasts dedicated to talking about how, as I was playing this game, I was losing my mind because I'm like, is this actually that good? Like, I feel like this is one of the best games I've ever played, but I can't tell. Am I in my own head right now? And then when I saw, like everybody got their hands on it and they played it and they're like, no, this is one of the best games ever. I'm like, I fucking knew it. Like, I knew it. PlayStation Pete, you almost got the platinum for Ghost of Yotei. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Tell him to piss off. Well, listen, man, it really starts to irk me a little bit. There have been times in the past, of course, where things have gotten to me. But the reason why this really, really got under my skin is because it's like, it's just, okay, I can't stand for this. I've watched people lie about me. I've seen people refer to me as some of the most heinous words you can think of because of the way that I was framed to look. And it's like, whatever, man. Like, if you're not willing to actually go check to see if this is true or not, or if this is it really what it seems like. If you're not willing to do that, it just means you're okay just watching a 2-minute clip, watching a 4-minute clip, and basically saying, I'm going to judge the entirety of everything you do based on that alone. Then you know what? The reality is, I don't want you here. You belong there. If that's really how you operate, then it's like, yeah, you belong there. You're right where you need to be. You don't belong over here. And I got kind of pissed off as well because this person who did this, they tried to like come back at me and be like, well, it's the audience you created. You guys are toxic. That's streaming 101. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm like, good fucking thing. Cause you know what my audience is? My audience is fucking amazing. They got my back, bro. Like, it just goes to show, it's like, I'm not trying to fight people about this shit, but it's like, don't come at me like that. And don't come at my fucking audience like that when it's like, you have no idea. Like, you have no fucking idea. Like, how my audience has come through for me in the past. You know? And it's just insanity to me, man. It's insanity where it's like, how far are we really going to take this? Because I get it. Everybody's got to do what they got to do to keep going and keep things going, right? Everybody's got to push the envelope, so to speak. But there just comes a time where it's like, listen, if you think I'm toxic, if you think my community's toxic, and you know, you think that these people who are out here pushing narratives, lighting fires, and then walking away saying, look who did that. If you think those are the people that you should be following and that are actually going to lead you to a better place, then go ahead. But don't be surprised when you're led right off a fucking cliff, dude. Because these people are liars. They're deceivers. But they really are. They're liars. They're chronic liars. It's the only they know it's the only way they can remain relevant is they have to twist and twist and twist and twist some more. And they're banking on people's, frankly, laziness. If not laziness, just the nature of the internet. You scroll across something or you come across something and you're not going to look any further. And I get that. Unfortunately, that is the way the internet works now. And I'm doing 2, 3, 4 hour streams. I do not expect anybody to, be like, hey, man, I'm going to sit down and watch every 4 hour stream now so I get every ounce of context. It's not that. It's just, it really is to the people that are like, if you're going to talk shit, at least sit the fuck down and consume a little bit more before you talk the shit. And if you consume it all and you still got shit to talk, I ain't got no problems with that. Talk your shit, whatever. I appreciate you stopping by. I appreciate you getting all the context, But just the way it goes, I suppose. It's the way it's always going to be. PlayStation Pete says, MBG, are you buying 007 First Light or Tomb Raider Atlantis? I would like to play both of those games. Yeah, Tomb Raider Atlantis looks really good, actually. 007 looks good, too. I'm not the biggest James Bond fan, but I liked the gameplay that they showed. And, the only thing about it is the timing of when. It's always the timing of this shit, dude. Like, it depends on what I'm playing at the time, what's releasing in proximity to it. So, for example, by the time 007 comes out, I know for a fact I'm still going to be knee-deep in playing Resident Evil 9. And so it's like, well, then I know Soros is coming like a month later. So I'm going to have to figure out where it's going to take place. But yeah, I do want to play both. Michael, you're saying they are liars and overreactors. What they say shouldn't mean anything to you. And to be fair, what they say doesn't mean anything to me. But I felt the need where it's like, I'm going to have to defend myself a little bit. Just a little bit. Because it's like, again, I remember how I felt about playing Claire Obscure. And I talked all year long about how amazing of a game it was. And just because I tried to have be a little bit funny, which maybe it wasn't that funny. Maybe people took me too seriously, but I'm just having a little bit of fun with it with my audience and we're messing around a little bit and people try to take that. And it's like, we're going to weaponize that too. It's like, are you like, come on guys, like give me a fucking break. How are you going to you're really going to bust my balls over this? Like, really? Like you bust my balls over everything. You're fucking watching me with a goddamn microscope. I'm used to it. But this? So, yeah, that's why I went back and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make my own fucking little video, my little clip, and I'm going to show, like, here's actually, if you want to fucking know how I feel about Claire Obscure, here you go. You don't have to go back and find my streams. You don't have to go back and watch my review. I'm going to do the thing now. And I did. And, my only hope my hope with something like that is not that people go, oh my God, MBG, you were done dirty, bro. We're so sorry. No, I don't. It's not that. I just hope people sit there like, oh, okay, he did. He really liked the game. Okay, cool. Yeah, nice. That's it. That's all it is. That's all it is. That's all it is, man. MBG flipped the argument onto him, tell him, well, since I own my community via the actions and opinions, then why don't they all like Expedition 33 like me? Anyway, I'm sorry to rant so much. Dude, the moment your stream died that night and the way we were crashing out during the next stream, dude, that's another thing that got me. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm sorry, Rich. I'll read that next. I was a little bit perturbed where it's like, bro, guys, there were like 4 different things that happened that night that were all clippable for good or bad reasons. Why, like, it's just so sad to me where it's like, bro, you could have made fun of my hair or my wig or whatever. You could have made fun of my cosplay. You could have made fun of my fucking crash out that I popped up on a game. I finally came back from my crash stream in the middle of a Game Pass ad. There were so many other things of me shaving my beard, anything. But it's like, no, man, this guy's community is fucking toxic. Look at the way he's reacting. Like, okay. I mean, give me a fucking break. Hang tight, boss. All right, let's see. Rich Rod. Rich Rod says games who decide to release on X. Rich Rod's here to remind us that this community isn't toxic. Rich Rod is a special case. I need the record to show Rich Rod does not speak for the entire community. He's a special case. We try to be tolerant and welcoming. I'm trying to chill him out a little bit, you know. He says games who decide to release on Xbox, yes, FOTOR. What are you saying there? Deserve to fail and be bankrupt, and only PlayStation console games are respected. That Rich, thank you, man. No more console warring, bro. We're done with that. We're done with the console warring. You gotta chill out. That Rich, that's what you were begging me to read this whole time. This is, come on, Rich. Carl says we need war. Well, Fate of the Old Republic. Okay. I saw that Casey Hudson was like, "Don't worry, it's not gonna come out in 2030." We need a Jeff Keighley diss track. A Jeff Keighley diss track. Yeah, dude. Well, I will tell you, putting that nonsense aside, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Bobby. I didn't mean that. I'm sorry I had to put you through that. I apologize. I tend to do that. I start going on, and then before I know it, I'm 30 minutes deep into a rant about some random bullshit. But yeah, talking about video games. So I want to take a little bit of time to talk to you guys about some of the highlights from the Game Awards, because putting aside some of the disappointments or some of the underwhelming reveals and how long the show was, and putting aside the awards themselves, I was looking back and I'm like I said, dude, there's some really good looking games, man. I went back and I watched that Resident Evil trailer, and I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. Like, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I was so hyped about that Resident Evil trailer that I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to boot up Resident Evil 2 remake again. And I did. I was that hyped about it. And I think I'm going to replay that. Maybe Resident Evil 4. I'm really feeling it. And we got some new information on it, but the trailer, it's unfortunate that my stream crashed as that trailer came on, but it was still awesome to see the reveal. Something else that I feel as though I kind of forgot, again, like when you're watching the Game Awards live, everything just kind of blurs into one. Come on, boss. Yeah, I mean, dude, Phantom Blade Zero looks as amazing as ever. We got a release date of September next year. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but it has been officially confirmed that Phantom Blade Zero is a timed console PS5 exclusive, or PS5 console exclusive. Officially, Sony locked it down seemingly for at least 1 year from the time it launches. And I actually came across this. This is where it's like, guys, I'm not gonna rant. I'm gonna try not to rant here, but I come across this stuff where I'm like, what is wrong with people? I see there was okay, the Game Awards just posted everybody posing. It was Genki Japan. Genki Japan posted this information first. That's where I came across. He said Phantom Blade Zero will be a PlayStation 5 console exclusive for at least 12 months. And it says Phantom Blade Zero PS5 console exclusive. This is from the official trailer. It says also available on PC, not available on other consoles until at least... Hey, stop that. Not available on other consoles until at least 12 months after release. And so... Okay, hold on. Boss is being really bad. And it's just crazy, dude, because like seeing the way people have responded to it, or like they responded to his post. It's like, again, I don't know what's wrong with people anymore. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what's wrong with people anymore. Where like I didn't expect to have to come to Genki Japan's or Genki's defense here, but the top reply is somebody taking a screenshot of this game on Steam. You can pre-order Phantom Blade Zero on Steam, saying stop spreading misinformation. And it's like, what is wrong with you people? I just don't understand. It's like Genki did nothing wrong. Nobody here did anything wrong. You are straight up fucking butthurt at the sight of console exclusive for a game like Phantom Blade Zero. Nobody said it's not going on PC or it's not releasing on PC. Nobody said a fucking word about PC or Steam. And yet you get these guys crawling out of the woodwork like, stop spreading misinformation, man. Stop, Genki. Why are you doing that? It's like, get your fucking head out of your ass and go fuck yourself. Sorry, the rage is coming through. My test is up today. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to go completely off the deep end, but it really is like, bro, this is what I'm saying. Like, you need to log off. Like, you need to log off. Nobody said this game isn't coming to PC. It literally says on the fucking screenshot that he posted, also available on PC. It says it right there. So what you're seeing, earnestly, this is how you know Twitter, it has rotted my brain and it's rotting it further every day. There's so many people existing on Twitter where their brains are beyond rotted. They're full rotted, right? What you're seeing is somebody say, hey, stop spreading misinformation by telling me that this game is still coming to PC. You son of a bitch. Stop it. It's like, we can't help you. We can't help you. And this is why I understand why Rich Rod's so frustrated sometimes. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. How dare you tell me this game's still coming to PC, you misinformed son of a bitch. I'm not going to lie. That shit made me laugh. I had to read that like 4 times over. I'm like, what? Rich says, making Leon only the action part of the game is absolutely rude. I give Capcom just 3 more main games to go on Xbox. After that, they go bankrupt. Rich Rod's like, make them all console exclusive. We need them all console exclusive. Goddamn, Rich. I think really the actual takeaway, by the way, the actual takeaway here is, why would Sony lock down Phantom Blade Zero as a console exclusive? I don't think it has anything to do with Xbox. Because the thing is, by the time this game's coming out September. I mean, Xbox Magnus is probably coming out the next year, but, you know, these devices like the Steam Machine and Xbox Magnus, they're going to have Steam on them. So this game will not be locked. You won't be locked away from this on these upcoming devices. I think this is for the Switch too. I think that's what it's for. I think it's basically about, like, we don't want this. We don't want them to make a Switch 2 version of this game. That's my honest read on it. I think this is why, because you have to question, like, why would Sony still feel the need to lock down timed console exclusivity if Xbox is no longer really a thing or a threat? I think it's because of the Switch 2. I think that's the new thing Sony's going to be worried about. We have Moonshot, aka Josh. He says, the rot is real, bro. I'm no woke defender, but I'm seeing these lunatics celebrate Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 not winning an award because of woke. Meanwhile, I played Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Oh, shit. Yo, Josh is about to come in swinging, bro. You talk about his game of the year. At least I think it was your game of the year. I know you put like 200 hours for the platinum. There's always some drama, dude. There's always some nonsensical drama. And you're saying, and didn't encounter any of this woke stuff they claim is unskippable in my playthrough. I'll be honest, bro. Like, that's one of those things where not only I'm not even on the sidelines or the bleachers watching, I'm literally not even in the stadium. I'm going to be honest. I've seen some things pop up about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I'm like, I didn't play the game. I'm not going to play the game. I don't know anything that's going on with this game. The only thing I came across more than a few times was the developer of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. They posted like a meme of the dog sitting in the fire being like, this is fine or whatever. And I saw people getting really upset about that. And I'm like, I mean, I guess, I don't know, like, how seriously are we taking all this, guys? But I don't know what the drama is. You think Sony's worried about the next Xbox consoles? Well, no, neutral zone. I don't think it's that. Because the thing is, if Sony locks down a game like Phantom Blade Zero as a console exclusive, knowing that Steam is going to be available on the next Xbox, I don't. You see what I'm saying? Like, if anything, that would be the most pointless reason for Sony. This would be the most pointless console exclusive ever, because it's like they still have access to it. I think this is to keep it off Switch. Maybe. Unless there's something else going on behind the scenes that I don't know about. Maybe. It's possible. It's possible, bro. But Josh, I feel you, man. Again, I think the difficult part these days is trying to determine what's real and what's not. You know, like, are people really this stupid? And, you know, a lot of times you want to just pass it off as like, no, they're just trolling. They're not that stupid. But then you see it enough and it goes on long enough and you're like, no, they might be that stupid, man. And that's kind of the part that really rocks your world, where it's like, I didn't think this was possible. Like, I didn't think it was possible for people to be this stupid. I mean, genuinely, thoroughly. But, you know, as I keep saying, it is what it is, man. It is what it's going to be. Damn, Irvin, you really didn't like the show, huh? Well, that's brutal for you, man. You had to stay up all night. You stayed up till 8 in the morning, slept 12 hours the next day. I'm sorry to hear. Yeah, I would feel the same way you do, man. I'd be like, what? Like, I practically ruined my life for a week because of this show. Jeff Keighley ruined my life. What if the RAM shortages delay the next gen consoles? Yeah, I've been doing a little bit of research into the RAM shortages, and my main takeaway with that is people don't know. No one really knows the mid-term ramifications of it. They don't know how long it's going to last, and they don't know when it's going to come to an end in terms of like stabilization. So I think right now it's very much, at least if you're Sony, if you're Microsoft, right now it's very much just a wait and see approach, to where, like, if it does need to get delayed, that's something we won't know until probably sometime in 2027. So for now, they're probably just like, plans are still in place. We're still on track. We don't know what type of contracts they already agreed to. So, Josh, you're saying, I knew as soon as Expedition 33 won, haters would come out of the woodwork, but Ubisoft is crying in a corner somewhere. That's the true sad part here of all of this, Josh, is that, like, you see everything that's going on with Expedition 33, and that could have been a Ubisoft game. Like, if Ubisoft had just listened to the director and some of the people that formed that studio before they left, and was like, you know what, yeah, we'll let you make this game. They were like, nah, bro. And they're like, okay, we'll just do it on our own. The craziest part about that speech, by the way, the Game Award speech by the Expedition 33 team and the director, was when he was like, shout out to the developers who made YouTube tutorial videos on how to make a game, because we needed to use that and it helped us. And I'm like, that's such a flex, but at the same time so crazy that it's like, wow, that's like it's really a wild thing to see, where you see like these massive AAA teams and you know, they're going crazy to try to figure out how to like make these games the most appealing, addictive things that are going to win all the awards and just take over the industry. And then you just got these guys who are like, so I think we figured out how to make this game. Let's try to put it together now. And it's awesome. The statue thing. Yeah. Well, here's something I'll say too about the Game Awards. Um, and it's not just about the Game Awards, it's about watching any video game award show in general. The thing about it for me, and I notice this as I get older, and I guess it's just because it's like, when you're partaking in this long enough, your perception or your perspective, I should say, on things changes. But hold on, before I say that though, you're saying Moore's Law is dead. Interviewed someone in the industry, and he doesn't think this will affect the PS6 at all. It's already starting to wind down. Interesting. Okay, well, that's good news. Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's just a really short-lived thing. But my whole thing about watching these game shows anymore, and this goes for Sony as well. I'm just putting that out there because I don't want people to think like I'm just calling out every other dev and every other studio. I've gotten to a point where like, dude, my tolerance level for CG trailers is at like an all-time low. And again, I think this is just from years and years and years of watching CG trailers and getting excited just to realize that by the time you get the game in your hands 4, 5, 6 years later, you look back at that CG trailer, and I'm not saying every time it's completely different, but it's just you realize that CG trailer was just it's a pure cinematic made to get you hyped. Nothing more, nothing less. And it really doesn't have anything of substance other than just to tell you like we're making this thing, and maybe what you're seeing, some of it might turn out to be in the game, or it might end up looking something like this. I just find it so hard to get excited for CG trailers anymore. And that's a perfect example. Dude, the Wolverine trailer like I fucking had a bowl of popcorn and practically threw it up in the air because I was so hyped. But it's like, okay, now let it sink in that you're going to go 4 years of seeing jack shit. And you're going to get, like, people are going to get to a point where, like, I don't even think this game is real. Now, granted, in Insomniac's defense, they did show the game finally, and it looks fucking awesome. It's like, oh yeah, okay. Hey, look, he's wearing the flannel. You know what I mean? Like, he's walking into the bar. So it's like, technically, I could look at that CG trailer and be like, that kind of told you what the game was going to be. But it's just, I guess what I'm just trying to say is it's like Intergalactic. I'm not excited for Intergalactic, or at least super excited, because it's like, dude, I don't know what this is. I don't know what you're showing me. And I don't know. I'm not saying we shouldn't see CG trailers. CG trailers play a role. They have their place in the industry. My whole thing is, I guess if I was a developer, and I probably go against marketing, is probably bad for business, because you have to imagine there's a reason why they do it this way. I'd be like, I don't want to show the game until we can also show at least some snippets of gameplay. And those are the trailers I appreciate the most. I appreciate like the what trailer was it? The Control Remnant or Resonant trailer. That was a perfect trailer where it's like, and you know what? They didn't even have to show gameplay. They didn't have to, because it's like, we know what Control is. So they could have gotten away with it more so than others. But my whole thing is like, when they show that trailer, like they're starting it as a cinematic, and it looks like it's going to be just a CG trailer. But then like the second half of it is, now we're showing sick ass melee gameplay where shit's looking off the chain. And I'm like, hell yeah, dude. Like, I love those trailers because I feel like it respects, frankly, the viewer more, where it's like, we're trying to show you what this actually is, as close as we can within our means, to like, when you choose to buy this, what you're going to get in your hands and what the final product is going to be. It's like that Star Wars trailer. Like, I understand why they do those CG trailers to hype up a game like Star Wars and whatnot, but it's like, fuck if I know what that game's gonna be like, dude. Like, I can't get excited about it because I'm like, dude, I have to. I don't know. Like, I don't know what it's gonna be. I can try to imagine it's gonna be this RPG. It's gonna be this. It's gonna be that. But it's like, I'll just wait till we see the gameplay. I don't expect them to ever stop. No, I don't think CGI trailers are going to stop. And I'm not saying they should. I guess I just get a little bit burnt out when I'm watching a 3.5 hour show where so many of the trailers are CG. A lot of them are CG. And I'm like, I don't know. It just, my hype levels struggle to, that's just how I kind of operate these days. Again, I think I've changed a little bit over time because I didn't used to feel that way. Like, I used to feel just as hyped about CG trailers. But like, if tomorrow Sony was like, here's a CG trailer for The Last of Us Part 3, it's like, yeah, there will be some level of excitement because that's like a third game in a series. I think it's especially bad if it's for like brand new games. So like, if Sony came out, and I'm trying to think of a studio like it's like Cory Barlog, right? If Cory Barlog was like, here's my new game, and it's a 30-second to 45-second long, or just a minute long CG trailer of a brand new, like, we don't know what it is. Like, we just have no idea. It's like, sweet, man. Like, we finally got it revealed, but it's like, but I still don't really know anything. You know what I mean? Like, I know very little about what this is going to be. So my like hope is with a game like, I'm using Cory Barlog's because it's gonna be like a brand new game. Although it's not a new IP, I guess. It would feel more exciting if it's like, all right, we've been working on this for like half a decade, and when we go to show it, we're gonna show a little bit of gameplay too. Just a couple snippets. Doesn't have to be a whole montage or anything. Just a little idea of what we're gonna be playing. That's all. Ben, yeah, I don't know. I think it's gonna be a long time till we see Ben's next game. This is a non-discussion. The next time a game you are excited about, when they only show a CG trailer, I'll be hyping it. I'm gonna do my best. I'm just trying to think of a game. What could be a game announcement that's coming soon that would get me super stoked? CG trailer for Fizzant. My honest reaction. I'm gonna try. Yeah. CG trailer Bloodborne 2. Okay. I'm gonna try. Yeah, I know. It's one of these things where if you show me something that I'm gonna be excited for, I'll buy into it more easily. Certainly. Like, if I was a mega Star Wars fan, I would be losing my mind over that CG trailer, but I'm not. And so it's like, yeah, when I see that, I'm like, I'm somebody that needs to be convinced for this particular game. You need to win me over. And this trailer didn't win me over. Show me the gameplay, and you might have a day one buyer on your hands, And I do try to keep that in mind as well. With known properties and bigger titles, I kind of understand why they do that. MBG Intergalactic will be a worse Wolverine, but the story that's sole intent is being as subversive as possible. We will see. Tarnished. I'm very curious to see if I'm very, very curious about Intergalactic. I'm very curious, man. I don't know. We'll see. I know that the story is going to be about religion, so I'm sure that'll be I'm just worried if it's going to be good or not. That's all that matters. I don't even care if it's going to be subversive or divisive. Like, that can be cool sometimes, but it's just got to be good, I mean, just like across the board, like, shit has to land. You hope it annoys people. I mean, I'm sure it will. It's like, we're at a point where anything Naughty Dog does would annoy people. And I understand that, but I'm looking to separate the wheat from the chaff here, and separate the worm from the apple. Where it's like there's either going to be some genuinely valid reasons to criticize it, or people are just going to be saying stupid shit that you know. It's like when people decide to shit on The Last of Us Part 2 and just ignore that the gameplay is awesome. That always bothers me because it's like, dude, I don't like the story of The Last of Us 2 either, but come on, bro. Like, you can't strip everything away from it. That's the problem, is people want to strip everything from these games and from these studios. And I'm like, come on, man. Like, why? Why are you trying to strip everything from them? The culture war is entertaining. Perhaps. Yeah. Religion, you say? Already divisive. I want to see the gameplay, though. That's my big thing with Intergalactic. I think the gameplay is going to be really, really different, and for Naughty Dog. And I'm curious if they nail it or not. Even if it advocated political points that are very bad to you morally. I mean, it depends on how it's handled. Like if it's one of these things where it can be left up to interpretation, and it's like if you just want to take this at face value and leave it there, you're free to do that. If you want to read super deep into it and assume that there's something that we're really trying to say here, you can do that too. But I guess it depends on how it's presented, because a lot of things do that these days. Like there's a lot of things that I think are trying to get a bigger message across, but they try to like teeter that line of like, we're not going to outright say it. If that's the thing that pops in your mind, that probably is what they're going for. But for a lot of people, that's not going to pop up in their mind, and they're just going to take it for what they're being shown and what's in front of them. And that's okay. That we see that all the time everywhere. I mean, I very much am, like, let the devs do what they want, but I also, I'm very much like, if you live by the sword, you got to be prepared to die by the sword. Where if you're gonna make something that could potentially be divisive, or is made intentionally to be divisive, and you really know like this is gonna potentially divide people and create a lot of controversy or whatever, it's like, all right, that's fine, but you got to be prepared for the shit that comes along with that. You would like a Naughty Dog game that doesn't spur on years of toxic discussions. Yeah, I kind of feel you on that one. Like, you just want something that's not, but I feel like that's impossible, unfortunately. Like, I feel like Naughty Dog could make another Jack and Daxter, and you're like, that's going to be at the center of the most intense toxic discussions in gaming, because it's Naughty Dog. Like, as I'll put it to you this way, as long as Neil Druckmann is the head of Naughty Dog, and Neil Druckmann and Haley Gross and people like that, because these people, they really, I mean, they really made their, it's crazy, because the thing that's crazy to me about Neil Druckmann is he did write The Last of Us 1. But like, nobody cares. Nobody cares. They're like, no, you're the fucking Last of Us 2 guy. You're that guy. And that's what's interesting to me, because it's like, I'm the furthest thing from a Neil Druckmann defender, but it's like, I do try to remind people, like, if you liked The Last of Us 1, now that is true. The one thing I will say is Neil Druckmann did go on record saying Bruce Straley filtered a lot of his ideas, like bad ideas. And I'm like, that's kind of funny to me, in a sense, because it's like, the moment Bruce Straley's gone, it's like, all right, now I'm going to go all in with The Last of Us Part 2. Neil Druckmann unfiltered, bro. Gordon, a member for 25 months, says, wait, I missed this part. What was the statue in the desert teasing? It's Corey Barlog's next game, bro. Yeah. I'm just kidding. Gordon, I'm kidding. That's a joke. It's for Divinity. 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 I think it's going to be like a reboot. or not even a reboot. I think they're just doing something brand new with the Divinity IP. And Pepsi Max Dude, a member for 2 months, says, thanks for the gifted sub the other day. I am a happy gamer. I just got the PS5 Pro the other day. I'm glad to hear that, Pepsi Max Dude. I feel like you don't see a lot of love these days for the PS5 Pro, but I hope you enjoy it, man. It's a great console. Love to see it. And Lady Gamer, thank you for using your milestone sub there. And Ray, Metal Gear Ray comes in. He drops another 5 membership gifts for you guys. Once again, contributing to the goal, Ray.
But that was some fancy shooting. You're pretty good.
Thank you for that, man. Well, we're keeping it going. We're still chipping away at that goal. I mean, you guys have done some really great things for the channel and the community here, and I definitely appreciate it. So, Ray, thank you for that. He dropped those memberships for my world premiere from the 11th. Maybe, Rich. We'll see. Yeah, that trailer was disturbing. Did you see what Bruce said about Naughty Dog recently? No. What did he say, Irfan? I must have missed that. There's been so much stuff coming out, man. I always get overwhelmed around the Game Awards time. It's not a reboot. It's continuing the Divinity saga. Okay. And they go back to 2002. My only other question, Capcom's lawyer, because you seem to be really familiar with them. Did they say what type of game this is going to be? Because the CG trailer was insane in terms of like, my God, there's a lot going on here, and this is freaky, and disturbing. But yeah, I don't know. Is it going to be like a CRPG, or is it going to be like an action game, or action RPG is floating around? That's super interesting to me. I love action RPGs. So they'll probably get me on the hook if that's what they're doing. Irfan, this is a quote from Bruce Straley. He says, I was there for 18 years. That's an incredibly long time for anyone to stay in one place. I believe I played a very important role in building that brand. But I started to feel like I was answering the same questions over and over again. We were stuck within a very specific framework of gameplay style, a style that I myself helped shape. My mind doesn't cope with repetition like that. I need new problems to solve and new creative paths to explore. I'm not saying there weren't other opportunities there, but combine that feeling with the reality that I was pouring my entire being into something that wasn't truly my own. Some of the things I thought I had carried with me from Naughty Dog, I eventually had to accept that not all of them were useful. It feels like an evolution, like shedding your skin. It's messy and uncomfortable, and I've gone far enough in that process that the old skin needs to come off so the new snake can emerge. Yo, he's making Metal Gear Solid 6, isn't he? My human experience is about being present without getting trapped in my own head or prejudging what others will think about the game. That's fear, and if I'm operating from a mindset rooted in fear, I can't be creative. Interesting. Huh. I mean, it sounds like Bruce Straley had some kind of like spiritual awakening or some shit, you know? I mean, I'm being a little bit facetious, but it sounds like he kind of, I mean, he's not wrong, dude. He's not wrong. I think he's just basically saying he knows that if he stayed at Naughty Dog, he'd still be working on big AAA third-person action-adventure games. Cutting-edge action-adventure games. Well, shit definitely went down at Naughty Dog. For sure. Like, I feel like that's kind of somewhat documented, where it started with Amy Hennig and some development issues with Uncharted 4. I could be wrong, but I don't know. Like, I read that, if that's everything Bruce said, Bruce Straley, that is, I don't read that as he left on bad terms. That just sounds to me like he really wanted to. Yeah, I mean, dude, he's now, Bruce Straley's now making another companion game where you play as an old lady. I mean, there's no denying that it looks very different from anything you would see from Naughty Dog. And even if it's just by the art style alone and the fact that you're playing as an old lady, right? Maybe that's what he pitched at Naughty Dog, and they were like, bro, Are you feeling all right? We're not doing that. Yeah, it's like a self-reflection type thing. And I have respect for that. I think he just kind of realized he wants to do his own thing. And if he's working at Naughty Dog, he probably won't be able to do that. And I think that part where he said, I realized I was working very, very, very hard on something, or pouring everything into this thing that's not mine. Um, to me, that sounds like somebody who did that clearly he did that for many, many years at Naughty Dog. And he's just like, well, I think I'm kind of good now. And that's totally normal, dude. We see that all the time. We see that all the time. Could we read more into that? Is he trying to say something underneath the surface? Like he's trying to say, like, I got shot down and they rejected my ideas and they didn't want, you know what I mean? And I didn't feel like anything was mine anymore. Could he be saying that somewhere in there? Maybe. But if he is, I don't know. He would have to say that pretty outright. Um, but my guess is if Bruce Straley was asked about how he feels about Naughty Dog today and Neil Druckmann and Haley Gross, I think he'd say, "Yeah, I'm totally happy for them." I don't think he doesn't strike me as somebody who has a chip on their shoulder, is what I'm trying to say. And so it's one of these things where it's like I don't think there was anything there necessarily. I will say, and this will be my last observation I make in regards to Bruce Straley, everything I know about the development cycle of Uncharted 4 and the timing of his departure, I think the development of Uncharted 4 seemingly broke him a little bit. Where I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back, where he's like, I'm not doing this again. And I think the development cycle of Uncharted 4 was so tumultuous and intense that that's really what just did him in. And to be fair though, like we've gotten reports not too long after his departure about like severe crunch culture at Naughty Dog to like a deleterious degree where it's like this is just bad. Like this is there's like hustling and crunching when you need to sometimes, in a natural sense where it's like you got to commit a little bit more to get the job done. And then there's like you're like ruining people's lives type of shit. And it seems like Naughty Dog was getting dangerously close to the you're ruining people's lives. And the biggest problem with it is people were leaving. That was the whole thing, is their turnover was just crazy. And so they had to fix that. And that's what's kind of sad, right? Is then you see people today, they're like, we're going a whole fucking generation without a Naughty Dog game. And it's like, well, I mean, that's the nature of, you get these reports that come out that are talking about how Naughty Dog is one of the worst gaming companies to work for. Their crunch culture is the worst in the industry. And then it's like, you start to kind of realize like, well, that's what made it so they could get these games out in a timely manner. And when they decide we're not doing that anymore, then we end up waiting longer. But there's also the fact that their fucking game, The Last of Us Online, got canceled. So, there's no denying like we would have another game we would be playing if it didn't get canceled. 70% of Uncharted 4's level designers left after Uncharted 4. You're saying that's why The Last of Us 2 had bad level design? I don't think The Last of Us 2 had bad level design, but I noticed it was a little bit discombobulated. What the strangest thing to me about The Last of Us Part 2 is how there was like a section of the game where you can tell like they were like, we're going to go open world. And then you can very clearly tell they're like, actually, never mind. That can't work. You get what I'm saying? We're like, I think it was the Seattle area where like I found it so strange that I'm like, dude, this is kind of awesome. Like they're giving me this whole open area to explore, and there's nothing in the game quite like it. And you can see like there was a time in their development timeline where they wanted the whole game to be like that, but then they realized like this isn't going to work, and so they're like, let's just do this one section. And it's kind of cool in that sense. And but yeah, I think you can kind of see how there's a bit of if you observe The Last of Us 2 zoomed out enough, you can kind of see how the pieces were laid out. And there's just a couple areas that are a little bit like, like one of the complaints that some people have about The Last of Us Part 2 is the pacing. Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit long in the tooth, but I didn't think the level design was like bad though. I thought it was mostly pretty good. Like I don't recall having any particular problems with the level design. Oh, did they say? Yeah, you're saying we know it for a fact. They said it in a documentary that they wanted it to be open world. That's why I'm really interested to see what this game ends up actually looking like because, well, I mean, Intergalactic that is because I think they're making it clear like Intergalactic is going to be a very open game. Maximilian Dude had nearly 30K on both his Twitch and YouTube during the Game Awards. Got to get on that multi-streaming, get growth, dude. That's fucking wild. How do you, man? 30,000 people. I would be sweating, bro. I would crack under the pressure, man. That's insane. But she had 60K. Okay, so 30K on Twitch and YouTube separately. My God. Yeah, well, he was in the Game Awards though in that Capcom advertisement, which was pretty funny. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna think about some things going into 2026. I think it's clear that I'm gonna have to do something. What it is exactly, I don't know yet, but you got to give it to them though. The Last of Us and Naughty Dog stay in people's minds. Well, yeah, yeah, for sure. My whole thing is I just wish that when I go back or when I reflect on The Last of Us Part 2 and that whole situation, what basically really got me to walk away. I mean, I never really walked away from it. I still talked about it extensively. But what really bothered me was how I thought the conversation was going to remain on like, and it's interesting because reflecting on it now, you could see how this is The Last of Us 2 is the beginning of like, oh, wait until you see what happens over the next 5 years when it comes to talking about video games and how nonsensical these conversations can become. Where I just, I thought to myself, like, we're going to talk about the game, the story decisions in the game, the characters, the design decisions, all these different things. And instead, it just a bunch of people who never really gave a shit about video games. Um, Suddenly, there was just all new groups of people chiming in and pulling the game in every direction, and that really just made me disillusioned because I'm like, okay, this sucks, you know, like this sucks. Where it's just like I thought we were talking about the game, and it got so out of hand. I'll never forget. Like I was making some of these videos where I was talking about the characters and I was expressing my frustration at their decision making with what they did with Joel's character and all that stuff, and how I felt genuinely like betrayed or whatever. I can't believe they did this and they went in this direction. How much I didn't like Abby as a character, and so much of the conversation was just hijacked by like conversations about other things that are not that. And I'm like, all right, well, I've said all I can say here, and I'm gonna. I mean, I still talked about it on my streams throughout the years, but it's just I think you guys kind of understand what I'm saying. And now we see that today. Now we see that today, where like now today, every video game that comes out, it's like, what's the drama with this one? What's the non-gaming drama with this game now, with this new title? And that just gets so old where it's like, bro, come on. All right. The Last of Us fans are now the people who watch the TV show. The normies are taking over. I mean, I still don't think The Last of Us Part 2 should have won that award at the Game Awards, dude. Your biggest complaint was the boat scene? Well, I mean, I kind of look at Intergalactic as potentially a fresh start for Naughty Dog. It's potentially a fresh start, right? I mean, there's no denying that there's going to be, like I said, they're already, I mean, you could see it with the reveal of the game, you know? Um, there's already some level of drama around it that, to be honest, I'm not interested in because people are just projecting. You know what I mean? Like everything that everybody says about Intergalactic is just a giant projection of what they believe it will be, what they want it to be. Um, and that's why I really try. And I remember this happened with Ghost of Yote too, where I was like telling people like, let's just wait to see what the game is first, you know, and I think that Ghost of Yote is kind of proof that so much of what people's initial reactions were just completely wrong. You know, some things were right, but generally speaking, the idea of like, let's just wait, let them show the game, put the game out there, you know, and see if it's actually going to be some kind of dumpster fire that people are making it sound like it's going to be. And like, it's just not, you know, it's just it's a fine game, a good game, you know, but you know, again, people are still hung up on certain aspects of Ghost of Yote, and I get like to me, it's just like, all right, yeah, we get it. Like, there's just some people where it's like there's certain things associated with this game that you'll never like it because of that. But I just think that what I said kind of holds true in that just give them a chance to show the game and then let the game speak for itself and then judge it. Then you know what I mean? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think the situation would be different if this was like The Last of Us Part 3. If this was The Last of Us Part 3, fine, fine. You know, that's a little bit different. I think people would be I mean, you still see a lot of obviously a ton of toxicity, but it would be more difficult for me to say just give them a chance. I'd say no, like you probably if you have a problem with The Last of Us Part 3, that's probably because you checked out at The Last of Us Part 2, and that's fine. But then I'd have to question why are you here for The Last of Us Part 3? You know what I mean? Um when it comes to Intergalactic, my whole feeling on this game is just let them show it. You know, let them actually show it, building up to release, and as we get to release, we'll know like if there's something seemingly very critically wrong with this game. Jesus, that needs to be oiled. Um, but anyway, yeah, I kind of want to get a little bit back on track here. Uh, Hold on one second. Yeah, so I do want to get a little bit back on track here. I'm sorry. Um, I do need to talk about some of the games. I got a little bit sidetracked with the Naughty Dog conversation, which is fine. You know, a lot of people were expecting Naughty Dog to show up at the Game Awards. They didn't. Um, my only concern about Pragmata is the little girl's voice getting annoying. Yeah, Pragmata is interesting. I will say, like, I'm not completely sold on Pragmata, mainly because I I'm not sure how I feel about the whole, you know, like your like puzzle action where you're combining puzzles with action. I'm like, I don't know about that, man. That seems kind of it seems like it could be cool. I'd have to, I guess, experience it myself to know. but it seems like it could be kind of nightmarish for somebody like me. Um, so one of the biggest reveals, Jesus, that's bright, at the Game Awards that got me and I think many other people excited was Resident Evil Requiem. Specifically, we have Leon's reveal. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to bring this up. We have a little bit of new information about like what's going on with Leon. I did have it up, but the whole thing crashed. So it says Resident Evil Requiem director Koshi Nakanishi says Leon will be in his strongest state in Resident Evil Requiem. Leon is in his strongest state, but in this game he will be driven to the brink more than ever before. I think an important point is that this will be a battle that pushes him to his limits. So that's interesting. Really curious to see how things escalate because I mean, by this point, Leon, he's a vet. He knows what he's doing. He ain't scared of shit. Let me see here though. There is more information about Leon. For some reason, I can't find it. This is what happens, man. When these free. Here we go. All right. So more details via Automaton. Resident Evil Requiem is going to have one unified story. You're going to switch between Leon and Grace sections. Grace and Leon's playable sections are equally split. So it sounds like it's going to be a 50-50 thing here, where 50% of the game is played by Leon, 50% is played by Grace. It says here the structure is similar to Resident Evil Revelations. Grace is the biggest scaredy cat in Resident Evil history. Leon is a seasoned veteran. This will push Leon to his limits more than before. Leon is the, quote, cool and attractive older guy. Okay, that's a weird translation. Returning to Raccoon City for the first time since Resident Evil 2. Grace's gameplay is based on Resident Evil 2. Leon's gameplay includes martial arts and melee moves based on Resident Evil 4. There will be a balance between scary when you play as Grace and action when you play as the Leon segments. Leon drives a Porsche Turbo GT in the game. Okay. Coming February 27th. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Resident Evil is looking like it's going to be a highlight of 2026 for me. It's going to be like Resident Evil 0. That's actually one of the only Resident Evil games I haven't played. MBG, what do you think about Ontos, the new horror game by the makers of Soma? That looked pretty good, too. Yeah, that looked really fascinating. I never did get to play Soma. I've heard it's really good. I've heard really, really good things about it. One day I got to get around to playing it. But I remember seeing that trailer. That one looked good. Did you see the artwork of Leon that Capcom released? It looks like he might be infected. He's wearing gloves and has like a black mark going up his neck. I saw that. Yeah. I don't know what's going on there. I mean, everything we've heard in the rumor mill about Leon and Resident Evil 9 is basically saying like this is going to be kind of his send-off or something. So I don't know. I'm not sure what's going to go down, man. You're going to double dip with Resident Evil 9 on the Switch 2 and PS5? I'm Yoda. You're saying you're very excited for Resident Evil 9. I mean, yeah, it's one of my most anticipated games for next year. As long as Grace has weapons, it could be great. Well, it's interesting. They said that Grace's gameplay is going to be more like Resident Evil 2's, and I think that, yeah, that's going to be really good because she will be capable, right? Because like in Resident Evil 2, you are capable, but Resident Evil 2 definitely has a more, you feel more vulnerable as well, and you don't feel like you're playing as veterans, they see this shit all the time and they know what they're doing. Oh, by the way, they did confirm you will be able to play Leon's action sections in first person as well. So they weren't kidding when they said that the entire game, will be first and third person. Tarnish, you're saying I'll behave, MBG. I've been acting weird. It's okay. It's all good. You imagine Grace will be Outlast, running and hiding? No, I mean, I think she will. I don't think she's going to be as capable, right? Like, I don't think you're going to be roundhousing people as Grace, but I think you will have some weapons. You will be able to fight a little bit. Bring back the fixed camera angles. Oh, I don't know about that one, man. Yeah, I'm going to play the whole game in third person. I prefer third person. Well, they didn't really confirm whether or not any other of the legacy characters are going to be returning. Um, I mean, it seems like there's a really good chance some other characters from previous Resident Evil games could show up or cameo in some capacity. But yeah, man, I just had to take a little bit to talk. Sorry about that. I don't know why that's so loud. To talk a little bit more about Resident Evil, because I mean, this is going to be one of the best games that comes out next year, in my opinion. Do we think it's going to get delayed? I was thinking about that. I'm like, it's coming out so soon, February, the end of February. Hmm. Hopefully not. I mean, Ada will probably be in the game. I think that's a safe assumption. You don't think it's going to get delayed? What do you mean? Why do they want to make Leon so open, though? Capcom isn't into delays. Yeah, so we're going to talk about Saros next. Saros was delayed. Over on the PlayStation blog, they say, today I am stoked to share more about our story, ensemble cast, action gameplay, and world building in Saros coming to PlayStation 5 and enhanced for the PS5 Pro in 2026. We loved having Raul present Saros at the Game Awards today. And in case you missed it, you can watch the new trailer. They say our story will haunt you. Saros is the ultimate evolution of the Housemarque gameplay first experience. In our trailer at the Game Awards, we focus on our mysterious and monstrous story and show how we are taking things to the next level. This is our biggest and most ambitious story yet at Housemarque. Saros is the haunting story of a lost off-world colony on Carcosia under an ominous eclipse. You play as Arjun Devraj, a powerful solitary enforcer who will stop at nothing to find who he's looking for. You may have noticed a mysterious corridor and bedroom, which you will need to explore. In the interest of protecting our mystery, I will let the trailer share what we want to share about our story so we can discover it, so you can discover it ahead. Arjun is performed by the brilliant Raul Coley, but he is not alone. We have an incredible ensemble cast of NPCs. So let's see here. Say, for fans of Celine from Returnal, the one and only Jane Perry is back as Sheridan Bouchard. Jerome Jackson is performed by fellow Aussie Ben Pendergast, who is also known for playing Tyr in God of War Ragnarok. And Sebastian Torres is performed by David DeSantos. And you can hear the fantastic Adrian Ray, South of Midnight. So they have more cast members they're going to be sharing. They say you will meet our ensemble cast of NPCs in the passage, our hub where you start each run, or in the world where you explore and discover their haunting stories through conversations, solitary hologram logs, or audio logs. Expect hard-hitting performances from our actors and narrative team at Housemarque to pull you into our new world with Saros. Our goal is to create an emotional, haunting, and powerful character study that explores the cost of what it takes to create a new future. They say our spectacular bullet ballet returns. It would not be a Housemarque trailer without some bullet ballet. We hope you love the sneak peek at Prophet and some of the action gameplay against Carcosian flora and fauna. As Arjun, you will have to overcome a variety of hostile creatures and uncover their dark secrets by the end of our cinematic journey. We also showed off the new ability Parry, where with perfect timing of R1, you can reflect certain projectiles back at enemies, destroying or staggering them. It feels awesome to use it, and it's another way we're taking the action to the next level. And then they talk about the pre-orders, digital deluxe, and pre-order editions. I hate that they're doing this. 48-hour head start with the digital deluxe. For players who want the digital deluxe Saros experience, you will be able to play Saros 48 hours before launch with the digital deluxe edition. Um, and they say here for those playing with the digital deluxe edition, they will be able to play Saros with our PS Studios celebration suits featuring Returnal, God of War, and Ghost of Yotei inspired Enforcer suits for Arjun. Playing as Arjun with the Astra suit is awesome. And as a huge fan of Sony Santa Monica and Sucker Punch Productions, it's an honor to have their worlds merged with our digital deluxe players. And they say here, following today's deeper look at our storytelling, we also wanted to share an update on our launch timing to make sure that Saros exceeds our vision. Saros will now launch on April 30th, 2026. So they say we can't wait to share more about our game, how we push the PS5 hardware, and more. So there you go. I know there's like quite a bit to take in, but for those interested in Saros, I mean, they got a lot going on here. I got to say, I'm really intrigued by this game because this seems to be the first time. Like, I thought the storytelling in Returnal was good, but like I said, it was a little bit obtuse. Oh, I'm sorry, Moonshot. I didn't read your I missed. I think I missed. Okay, yeah, I missed one of your chats. I'm gonna read it real quick. You're saying everything is so politically charged nowadays, man, and I'm realizing the loudest, biggest crybabies didn't and don't play the games, man. It's ruining it. Yeah, no, I hear you. Josh, now more than ever, unfortunately, I'm beginning to realize like you just have to kind of protect your own mind, I guess, a little bit. You have to protect yourself because everybody has their own reasons for partaking in things. And what I've realized, I've realized this numerous times over the years, but it's reaching some kind of peak, perhaps at this point, is that so many people, more than you would ever want to imagine, unfortunately. And this is not something that just happens in the gaming industry, it's all around, but just focused on the gaming side. So many people who really are not coming from a good place are more involved than ever before. And it's one of these things where it's like, you've always had to be careful to give these people an inch ever. Because the moment you give them an inch, they're not just taking 1 mile, they're taking as many miles as they can and they won't stop. This goes beyond just the political stuff. This is just in all regards, you know? But what you're saying here, Josh, the thing that I can really speak to is, you get too many people involved where it's like they're not playing the games. They're not playing the games. They're not interested in games. I'll tell you what, even if they actually are, maybe they do own consoles or they do play on PC and they do have an account and they do have a library, then you have to really question, like, where's your mind at? How do you enjoy anything? Because all people are doing these days is being hypercritical about everything, being dramatic about everything, and like you're saying, being crybabies about everything, man. Like, don't get me wrong, I like to rant and I like to complain, and I think that's fine. I think we all have a right to complain a little bit and speak our mind. But when it gets to a point where it's like what do you enjoy? The last thing I'll say, Josh, before I get back to I almost said Returnal to Saros, is that there are two types of people, I think. Well, there's a lot of types of people. But generally speaking, there's two types of people. There's people who like pain and they like to suffer. And this can come in many ways, different shapes and forms. But I think there's people who like to suffer needlessly, and there's people who understand that there's suffering that doesn't have to be in vain. And that's, what I'm trying to say here is you see these people where the most important question you could ask them, the most mind blowing question, and I'm saying mind blowing because the answer will blow your mind, is then why are you here? Why are you spending time and energy on something or in a place that brings you misery, brings you anger, brings you frustration, and brings you sorrow, or just some type of vastly intense negative emotion? And the answer, you'll never get it from them, but the answer is because they want to suffer needlessly. They are, it's all they can do. This is going to be a pain in the ass. But that's just the truth, man. Like, and I'm just, the reason why I'm saying this is because if you look at this stuff and you see, like, well, if you're trying to understand like where somebody coming from, there's a lot of people where I'm using the term like suffering and pain and all this shit because everybody goes through shit. Everybody goes through shit. Everybody knows. Yeah, I mean, you could call them masochistic. Everybody knows that like you're going to encounter bullshit that evokes negative emotion. You can't be positive all the time. You can't force positivity. You can in some instances, but generally speaking, it's not going to work out for you. Positivity has to be a natural thing that is evoked within you. Um, but anybody who encounters something that brings this type of emotion out of them, again, you're either going to like dive headfirst into it and allow it to consume you and define you to an extent, or you're going to realize that, you know what, my time and my energy is limited and I don't want to feel this way all the time. So I'm going to go somewhere or do something that gets me away from this feeling. And I want to limit this feeling, cuz you can learn from those feelings, but it's just sad, man. You just see so many people where it's like like what do you and I've talked about this before and I'm sorry I sound like a broken record, but it's like we know why they're doing it. They're doing it because, well, they're probably getting paid or they're getting some kind of attention. And as long as those two things continue to occur, then that's why they'll keep doing it. So for them, it's not in vain. But for their followers, it is. And that's the scariest part. For their followers, it's just a form of validation. And that's disturbing. So you can please some of the people some of the time, but you can't please all the people all the time. Exactly. Exactly. All right, boss. Fine. You waited long enough. Guys, I'll do this as a gesture of goodwill. Hopefully we'll still hit that 25 today. MBG, according to Moore's Law is dead, Samsung will halt production of SSD SATA drives, and this may increase prices of storage for the next 18 months. It's worse than the Micron situation. Whoa. So now we got a whole nother problem. I didn't even know about that. Now there's going to be a problem with SSDs. Damn, dude. MBG, the solution is just don't read other people's opinions on any game, and you won't get stressed. No one's making you do it. You're not going to stop people from being toxic ever. That's true. Yeah, no, I totally get where you're coming from, MacTube. Like the biggest problem, I mean, it is a problem, but the biggest change in me from 6, 7 years ago, even like 5 years ago to where I am now is, yeah, now I'm, you hear the term like chronically online or just like chronically connected online. That's very much me. And it's tough because it's like I'm so conditioned to be that way at this point that I have to now go out of my way to learn to like unlearn it. You know what I mean? To like get back to what it was like to not like it's crazy to think there was a time in my life where I wasn't using Twitter, you know what I mean? And I wasn't on Reddit. I wasn't in any of these places. And I oftentimes think to myself, like, man, my intuition was so much better then. Now it's just clouded. It's just a giant fog. And so yeah, you're absolutely right about that, man. But yeah, I guess I'm just thinking about this so much because every time we do these like big events, you know, there's so many people showing up. There's so many people tuning in. All memory, not just DRAM and SSDs. Didn't Sony make its own SSD for the PS5? I actually don't recall. I don't recall. Good old times. I miss those so much, MBG. Yeah, I hear you, bro. I hear you. And that's the sad part, right? Is like you kind of realize you're a like the band Alice in Chains. Alice in Chains is known to be a band that sings about being addicted to drugs. Well, I mean, at least in 90s Alice in Chains. I mean, I know that they're still around today and they made albums with a new singer, but so many of their like big albums are just literally singing about how they're like helplessly addicted to drugs. And there's like, everything that goes along with that. And I'm like, dude, I feel like we're going to see people. I'm not saying it's exactly the same, but the way the brain works, it's like you're going to see people making bands where they're singing about you're probably already seeing it, being helplessly addicted to social media and being connected on the internet. Yo, Alice in Chains they're goated, man. They're amazing. But yeah, I think about that sometimes. I'm like, damn, dude, it's so bad out here these days. And if you go on and you know what's so funny is the proliferation of content on YouTube and in other social media places where it's like how to get off of social media. Like I'm going to learn how to get off of social media on social media. I'm going to learn how to get off the internet by being on the internet. And it's so funny because in a way, it kind of preys on you, right? Where it's like the only way to get off the internet is to literally get off the internet, like just get off of the internet right now. Um, Not watching a video telling you how to get off the internet. So it's kind of a weird situation, you know? Oh, absolutely, Planet Clippy. Yeah. Slipknot's newest album has some songs about social media. Oh, yeah, that song Hive Mind. Yeah, yeah, no, I was just listening to that the other day. You're absolutely right. Sometimes when I'm listening to that song or that music, I don't realize what they're singing about because I'm just so lost in like how heavy it is. But you're absolutely right, dude. That's exactly when I think about the lyrics of that song. And that's good stuff because it's so true. It's so true. And it's real, man. But yeah. You just noticed that this gen Sony's been giving us 6 exclusives except for 2024. They gave us 10. Regarding a physical book or playing a single player video game, it's my best way to get off of social media. And I've sworn off Facebook, Instagram, and X. That's for the best. Yeah. I mean, eventually I'm going to, it's tough for me because like I run a YouTube channel, obviously, and I already do so many things that are bad for what I do here. And by bad, I mean like the whole idea of like running a YouTube channel and finding any type of success is you have to do everything all the time and you got to be on top of everything. You got to run this shit from top to bottom, right? And I don't do that. I don't because I can't handle it. I'm like, dude, I run a Twitter account and a YouTube channel and I do it on my own. I do it completely alone. Um I can't even imagine if I had to run something else on top of it, you know? And this is part of like one of the reasons why I'm like hesitant to expand because it's like, dude, the worst thing about being on the internet is just the nature of being on the internet in the year 2025 going into 2026 is, they say like you just got to stop reading what people are saying. You got to stop listening to what people are saying. It's like you can't be on the internet and not have that. You just can't. You just can't do it. Like you either have to be disconnected and that's the only way you can drown it out or ignore it, or you need to just be, if you choose to be connected to the internet in some way, shape, or form, you're going to be exposed to it. That's the weirdness that I've kind of learned about the internet these days. But damn, dude. That's crazy, Irfan. I appreciate that, bro. Yeah, I wonder about that sometimes, man. I really do. Like, I wonder if everything has kind of changed on the internet to a degree where, like, everything's kind of gotten just worse. And now more than ever, people are trying to find places where it's not that anymore, like, or it's not as bad. And it's, I think in some instances it's hard for people to find that. That's why I try. That's why I try to take what I do here seriously to a degree where it's like I don't like YouTube implemented this thing where you can now make like channel guidelines. And I looked it over and I'm like, that's interesting. It's where basically before somebody is allowed to comment on a video or like when you first enter a stream before you can chat, it'll show you the guidelines that you have to. I don't think you have to agree to them, but like basically is telling you like if you don't be surprised if you don't follow these guidelines if your comment is deleted or you're banned or something like that, right? I was thinking about maybe doing something like that. Maybe I don't know if I'm going to. They're like building it into the channels now, and this is how I know it's getting bad. It's like you're seeing this shit built in to people's channels now, where it's like, why do we need this? It's like because things are getting worse. Because things are getting worse, and more is being tolerated, which can be viewed as a good thing if you're against like censorship and stuff, which, yeah, that makes sense. But there's also stuff that's like, yeah, you're gonna have to kind of know what you're walking into. You're gonna have to know what you're walking into. And I realized that by YouTube implementing a channel by channel personal, like, like every channel I go to now could have guidelines. Yeah, I know that's true, Jay Shako. You're right about that. Censorship isn't the answer. No, I mean, probably not. I would say you have to ask yourself, like, if things get bad to a point where people feel like they have to censor something, you have to ask yourself, like, well, how did we get to this point? You know, what makes it so bad? Anyway, oh, that's an interesting way of looking at it. If you don't have a problem with censorship, then you don't have anything interesting to say. It's an interesting way to view it. Well, it goes back to something so fundamental, which is like somebody could say, maybe we shouldn't show this. And the intention from that individual person could be good, of like, you think you're protecting people. Like, you know, think of the children and all, all that good stuff. Right. It's just like that can be good or well intentioned. I mean, right. It can be well intentioned. The problem is when it's manipulated and it's actually used where it's like, no, we're just going to use censorship as a means to control people and fuck around. And distort. Like it's the same shit. It's always been, man. It's distortion, manipulation. It's always going to be that way. Sadly. Anyway, the hell is that noise? Here, I'll be right back. I don't know. There's something going on out here. I'll be right back, guys. Hold on. All right. Sorry about that. Back now? Okay. My bad. Uh, all right. Let's see where we at. Um, Time to block this guy. Good riddance. Who? Tell MBG to stop console warring. All right. I'll stop console warring starting today. Does that sound good? Deal? Do we have a deal? We're shake on it. Yeah, somebody was at my door again. I had to tell them to get off my lawn. No. No, no, there was something going on. One of my cats, they were fucking with something. They knocked something over. I had to clean it up. I heard it. I'm like, okay, either that was my cat or yeah, somebody's breaking in. So I guess we'll find out. But yeah, it was a cat. I suspected it was Luna. She's wreaking havoc out there. All right. Where were we? I don't even remember what we were talking about. PS4 era actually had games. I mean, you know what's funny about like the PS5 generation is it has more games than like ever before. But people feel differently about it. I can't quite figure that one out. I remember looking into it and I think it's because Sony published way more games, like published games. And also Sony Japan put out a ton of games, like smaller games. They just had way more output, generally speaking. Now Sony, they publish a lot less. They publish fewer. I think people, and also Japan Studios not here anymore. So I think those things really kind of messed up people's perception of a PlayStation in the PS5 generation. Yeah, potentially. Another game I wanted to mention though, by the way, that I want to give a shout out to was I'm trying to see if I can find Control Resonant. Yeah, here we go. So we have the co-director at Remedy. I'm really excited to finally share what our team has been working on, Control Resonant, the highly anticipated sequel to our critically acclaimed and fan favorite Control from 2019. They put out their reveal trailer during the Game Awards. It feels fitting to share this first look here because Control found such an incredible audience on PlayStation, and your support has meant the world to us. Thank you for helping turn that strange paranatural world of shifting architecture and impossible spaces into such a success. Now it's time to return to a very different kind of chaos. The first game told Jessie Faden's story, her search for her missing brother Dylan inside of the Federal Bureau of Control's mysterious headquarters, the oldest house. Resonant is Dylan's story, the other half of that sibling tale. After years of confinement, Dylan Dylan is now being deployed by his former captors at the height of a supernatural crisis. The Federal Bureau of Control is struggling to contain a world-ending threat as Manhattan becomes the new battleground, a warped city where cosmic forces twist reality, bend gravity, and reshape the skyline into something unrecognizable. Dylan isn't just fighting to save the world, he's searching for redemption and for Jesse, while trying to understand his own dangerous connection to the chaos consuming the city. Control Resonant is our boldest step yet in expanding the Control universe. It's a third-person, open-ended action RPG set in a modern yet paranaturally ravaged Manhattan. Players can explore expansive zones across the city, each hiding branching missions, encounters, and events to tackle in any order. This world is alive, strange, and replayable, full of discoveries that reward curiosity and exploration. When we say action adventure RPG, we mean freedom, the ability to shape how Dylan grows, fights, and survives. His supernatural powers and weaponry evolve through a deep progression system, allowing multiple combat styles and approaches to exploration. Whether you rely on raw force, manipulation of your surroundings, or precise timing and mobility, Resonant lets you play your way. At the center of it all is aberrant. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. A shape shifting melee weapon that transforms on demand from a heavy two handed hammer to swift dual blades and more. Combined with Dylan's evolving powers, it creates fast, physical, and unpredictable combat that feels distinctly Control. Every encounter is an experiment in chaos. Upgradable weapons, abilities, and buffs allow you to customize your playstyle and take on otherworldly enemies in unexpected ways. You don't need to have played the first Control to experience Resonant. It's a new story and a fresh entry point into Remedy's world of the Federal Bureau of Control. Though returning players will recognize familiar echoes of Jesse's path and the mysteries binding these two siblings together. Both games stand firmly on their own, like two siblings, featuring distinctive and independent journeys through a strange, ever evolving paranatural universe. Resident can easily be your first step into the world of Control. Our goal with Resident is to expand what Control can be, a more open, dynamic experience that blends action, exploration, and player choice, all while keeping the mystery, atmosphere, and tension that define Remedy storytelling. This is our chance to take the surreal, brutal beauty of Control and push it further into a sprawling, reality warping Manhattan full of danger, discovery, and paranatural wonder. So they say Control Resonant is the biggest game we've ever made, and it will be released in 2026 on PlayStation 5. We can't wait to share more. So, yeah, definitely had to talk about Control Resonant, dude, because this game, this game looks amazing. Oh, come on, man. Like, see, this is what I mean. Like, I'm over here literally talking about a video game, and I'm just gonna have to. I don't know what else to do. It's like, dude, I don't get it. I don't like. I don't get it. But anyway, Control that came out in 2019, and dude, yeah, I appreciate that, Ray. I platinumed it. I thought it was amazing. I'm like, this game's shockingly fun. Like, I didn't really know what to expect. I remember seeing like previews for it and stuff. I'm like, this looks pretty damn good. But I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. I liked it enough to platinum it. And so when I heard there was going to be a sequel potentially showing up at the Game Awards, it definitely caught my interest. I have to say, they're going in a direction that I I'm way more hyped for this game than I thought I would be. I was already looking forward to it. I was already excited for it because of how much I enjoyed Control, but I was still kind of feeling like, well, I guess we'll see what they do. But what they're doing here by choosing to make it like a deeper like action RPG, going more open, which we'll see how the openness to it is because like I don't know if it's gonna be like full open world. They're not saying I think it's like full open world. It's maybe gonna be like open zone, but I really like it, and it's definitely going in a direction that I didn't expect, and I'm stoked for it. So, Control Resonant is the first Remedy game since Quantum Break that I'm actually excited for. Reminds me of Infamous Combat. Yeah, I like that they decided rather than focusing on like a handgun or like firearms, they're going to focus on melee combat now. I think that's the part I like the most about it because the shooting in Control felt amazing, but yeah, now I feel like them going in the other direction where it's like, okay, yeah. Um, so the thing that's also surprising to me is they're saying it's coming out. It's coming out 2026. So they didn't give a specific date, but I was a little bit surprised by that as well. I thought for sure, like, okay, it's probably gonna be like a 2027 game or something, and maybe it could get delayed. But this is what I'm saying when I talk about the idea of 2026 looking like it's gonna be. Goddamn, dude, like it's gonna be one of the best years in gaming that we've ever seen. Can't wait to see the rest of the melee weapons that the bar can become. Yeah, I like the fact that like I like the fact that they're taking it outside of the building. I kind of wasn't expecting that. I mean, I guess I kind of expected that control would be set somewhere different, but I didn't expect it to just be like it's going to be in Manhattan now. I'm like, okay. You don't like when they say you don't have to play the first one. We invested a lot in the first one in Jesse's story. What is her role in this one? She's still the head of the bureau. Yeah, I mean, I kind of like it. I understand why they're doing that. They feel like, well, we have to, you know, we have to bring new people in, and in order to do that, we have to make it clear that you don't have to have played the first Control to enjoy this one. And that's fair. That makes sense. I'm sure, like they said, if you did play the first one, there's going to be things here that you recognize. So I don't think there's going to be any problems there. Gaming Survivor, what's going on, man? You're happy the chat got cleaned up. My biggest gripe with Control is that it was all in a building, which was the main reason I didn't like it much. Yeah, it was definitely different in that sense. But they did say this is the biggest game they've ever made, so Chris, you're saying they ruined the chat, no lie, not open to anything. That's not pure PlayStation worship. I mean, I don't think that's true. I'm being honest in that. Like, if I'm being serious. I mean, I do think that there are people where they get a little bit feisty if you if you're talking about like Game Pass or something. But generally speaking, it seems to me like people are I don't know, release dates mean nothing anymore. I mean, I don't want to feel that way, but I feel like you're probably right. You're probably right. MBG, if I say anything that's not PlayStation gaming, Wes just jumps down my throat. It's annoying as hell. Wes, I don't know, man. Wes, I see, Wes, bro, I see you get tilted too. Chill. I see you get tilted too, bro. Come on. Everybody gets a little bit tilted sometimes. 2026 finally feels like devs are taking full use or making full use of this console generation. Yeah, well, I mean, dude, 2026, it's crazy because we're like 1 year away from the next gen, apparently, but that's going to be when, you know, that's going to be when things, I guess, really start to truly move on. You think RE9, Neo 3, and 007 are locked in? I get that feeling too, but I'm still a little bit nervous about Resident Evil. I could see it getting delayed because I mean, Saros got delayed out of nowhere, bro, for like no reason. It's just like it's delayed. Something tells you the PS6 will be delayed. I mean, yeah, everybody's thinking that. Court dismisses ex-marathon director Chris Barrett's $200 million lawsuit against Bungie and Sony. Oh, damn. Yikes. Yeah, I forgot about that. You think Saros got delayed because Sony wanted to get away from Crimson Desert? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to start doing some cleaning up around here. Maybe. What's this, Irfan? Let me see. Oh yeah, yeah, we covered that earlier. Yeah, Sony locked it in for some reason for 12 months. I think it has to do with the Switch 2, not necessarily Xbox. Drain the swamp. PlayStation 5 console exclusives for 2026. Neo 3, Saros, Marvel Tokon, Phantom Blade Zero Wolverine. I mean, goddamn, dude. I didn't realize Neo 3 was a console exclusive. I guess that makes sense. Rich Rod says one more incident from going rogue, making a channel called MB Gangsta. And every video has your picture saying sponsored by the real MBG Butterscotch. It's not sponsored. I don't endorse this. I mean, Rich, you're free to do what you want, but I don't endorse it. You hear? It's not officially sponsored, but you're free to do what you like. I mean, people use my content all the time anyway. But I don't endorse it, you know? Definitely not. Jay, you're asking what the F I'm not a mod. Were you a mod before, Jay Shako? When someone uses anti-Semitic dog whistles, I would for sure kick them out of my chat. Well, who are you referring to, Planet Clippy? Rich Rod's like, I'm not a mod either. What the F? Oh, yeah. Neo 1 and 2 were published by Sony. Okay. Huh. But this one isn't. It's just only releasing on the PS5 console. Right? Well, Gaming Survivor, who are you referring to? Jay, you're saying I'm crazy? Well, yeah. I think streaming this long has made me crazy, to be honest. Streaming this much means I am chronically online, and it's made me crazy. Neo used to be a full PlayStation exclusive. 1,000 members for Rich Rod to be a mod. Yo, how funny would it be? It's like I make Rich Rod a mod. He's like the best mod ever. Jay, you want to be a mod? Wait, Jay, I forget. Were you a mod? Yeah, I feel like you were a mod before, right? Why were you unmodded? I don't know. Dude, to be honest, I'm at a point where, like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to unmod everybody, and it's just going to be me. And the only time people will be gifted modship will be for event streams, and it will be first come, first serve. I'm just kidding. It won't be first come, first serve. But I'm gonna like handpick like 3 people that I know are gonna be at my event stream and mod them that day. No, but like in all seriousness though, like I don't know if I'm gonna need as many mods because it depends. I mean, you know, it's not like we have thousands of people watching or hundreds of people. Or if it's like, not me, I need my breaking news. I'm kidding, by the way. I'm not removing all my mods. That'd be too much. Yeah, that's true too, Irfan. Yeah, I've thought about that. I thought about like creating a second channel just for streaming, but I'm like, what makes that so hard is people have been members on my channel here for so long. I mean, I don't want to, I'd be afraid of losing people in that sense, you know? So it's kind of a in between a rock and a hard place. Rich, I don't know about making you a mod, bro. I don't know about that. Yeah, I'm not so sure. Oh, I wanted to tell you guys about this too. So, putting the Game Awards aside, there was this report from Push Square. It says while you should expect Call of Duty Black Ops 7 to remain one of the best-selling games of the year or better-selling games of the year, all signs suggest it has seriously underperformed by series standards. That prompted notorious franchise insider The Ghost of Hope to make some startling revelations on social media this week. As part of a lengthy post on Twitter, he claimed the latest game's financial performance is, quote, way below expectations. So, yeah, this Ghost of Hope guy, he put out a tweet and he says, report, Microsoft believes Black Ops 7 is a good game, but the financial performance is below expectations, which were lowered last year after Black Ops 6, oh my God, Black Ops 6, quote, fell off a cliff. With the state of the franchise overall, the pressure is now on Call of Duty to change its model. Microsoft wants to see Call of Duty overall move towards a smoother revenue stream and a reduced expenditure pattern. Microsoft has also supposedly told higher-ups within Call of Duty that changes are very much required and nothing is off the table, including studio mergers and a complete rethink of monetization models within the franchise. Now, the article apparently was updated. It says here, uh, but when presented with this information by Charlie Intel, senior Activision and Xbox reps countered that both teams are, quote, completely aligned on investing in the future of Call of Duty and innovating for the community. The sources apparently added that Ghost of Hope's claims are, quote, not accurate. This prompted the insider to respond with a message with a sentence of laughing emojis, suggesting that he stands by his report. And he was asked if he had a source for his claims, and he stated confidently, I have quite a few. So, yeah, Charlie Intel, they post, according to senior Activision and Xbox reps, leadership across both teams are, quote, completely aligned on investing in the future of Call of Duty and innovating for the community. The Call of Duty team is moving forward with full Xbox support. Further, we were told specifically these claims are not accurate. So who do we? I mean, I don't know, man. I saw that. I saw Black Ops 7 is $35. That's crazy, dude. It's been literally one fucking month and it's already $35. I don't think I've ever seen that for a Call of Duty game before. And I think they're doing like a free to play week or something. Slop ops? No, I'm not opposed to saying that. I think this is interesting, man. Like I don't see how you yeah. I think it's funny that the Activision reps and the Xbox reps are like, it's not accurate. It's like, okay, man, I guess, but I mean, to be honest, I don't really need to get an insider report to know that the shit's hitting the fan over there, bro. Like, you guys are out here writing practically an apology letter to the community saying, like, promising you're never going to do something like this again they're like kind of framing it that way, like you're going to do better, which is fine. But then your game is now on sale for $35 within a month of launch, and now you're doing like a free to play weekend or week or something to get people in the door. It's and we already know what Microsoft is like as a big publisher. I'm not even sure why they felt the need to deny this, because it's like, sure, maybe it's not completely accurate, but come on, dude, like we know the shit's hitting the fan behind the scenes. And my whole thing about this is I just think you're not, yeah, like the big thing about this report that I just want to highlight is from this Ghost of Hope guy. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. But if it is true, it's revealing that Microsoft is now getting involved, like deeply involved with, like, you guys are going to have to figure this shit out. And I'm not going to lie, bro. I didn't think it would happen this soon. If it's true, I thought it would have taken more time. How's it selling versus Battlefield? I'm not sure. I think Battlefield may have outsold it, but I'm not sure yet. It's being rumored that Xbox is absolutely panicking over the sales of Call of Duty after the billions of dollars spent acquiring. Expect more layoffs next year. Yeah, but maybe we should focus on the fact that Sony didn't win any awards at the Game Awards. Maybe we should focus on that. Oh, yeah, I saw that too. He was saying that the current state of Modern Warfare 4 is it's basically a reskin of Modern Warfare 2 right now in its current state. Oh, Rich, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. He says, "You are rude. I'm the pillar here. Going rogue. Hashtag mod me." Rich Rod, he says he's a pillar, bro. Come on, man. Masochist mode's like, I can't believe I forgot his name. Well, guys, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna wrap up the stream in just 2 minutes, keeping it a bit on the shorter side today. Looks like, okay, yeah. I still got more shoveling to do, man. God damn. In a way, it was good Microsoft bought ABK. Otherwise, the 80 billion would all be put in the AI, making things worse. That's true. Members lounge. No, I don't think we're gonna do a members lounge today. Gaming Survivor. I might just conserve. I mean, we might do one later in the week, but we're gonna be doing our morning with the missus Christmas special on Thursday as well. Got to go get those gains in the snow. But yeah, we'll do probably at least one members lounge this week. They need to stop making Modern Warfare games. Modern Warfare 2 is massively successful, though. That's true. That's true. But I'm wondering, like, they did Modern Warfare 3, then they're going to have Modern Warfare 4. I wonder how long it can go on for, Because they can only change so much, I guess, truthfully. All right, Big Noise. Thanks for hanging out, bro. Yeah, guys, we're going to wrap it up here. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. If you watched live or if you watch later on, I appreciate it. If you dropped any support today, thank you guys for that. I can only do what I do here because of your support. We'll still chip away at this goal going into the rest of the week. But yeah, it's God, man. I can't remember the last time we got snow this early in the winter season. It's kind of crazy out there right now. But we had a power surge earlier too, so I was kind of waiting for that to happen over the course of the stream. Luckily, it didn't. But relax, Rich. Relax. You'll have opportunities in the future. We'll see what happens. Behave yourself. But yeah, all right. And I also want to give a shout out to Devil Shooter, who does the timestamps for the streams. So if you guys see him in the comments, show him some love, give him some thanks. I know he appreciates that. And yeah, that's going to wrap it up, guys. So please enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I got some work I got to get done. And I will catch you guys in the next one. So until then, take care, everyone.